Hi YouTube, welcome back to my channel, Kathy here. Today I'm going to show you how to make a really quick and easy brown stew chicken with potatoes. It's one of my favourites, love having it with rice and plantain and some coleslaw. So if you like what you see, please keep watching this video and I'm going to show you how to make this tasty, delicious stew. So I'm starting off with some boneless, skinless chicken thighs. I'm just drizzling with some olive oil and I'm going to start seasoning. I'm starting with some garlic salt. I'm also going to add some white pepper. By the way guys, I'm going to put the exact quantities down in the description below, so don't worry. And then I'm also going to add some ginger. So this is some ground ginger. If you've got fresh ginger, please do use that, but I'm using all dry seasonings for this dish today. And I'm also going to add some dried thyme. I'm going in with some ground ginger granules as well. And last but not least, I'm adding some curry powder, just a little bit of curry powder. And I'm just going to mix that thoroughly with my hands, make sure that all the dry seasonings are mixed in. I didn't use any fresh seasonings just because I didn't have time. So yeah, using all dry ingredients, and I'm going to thoroughly mix that into my chicken. I'm then going to add a couple of tablespoons of oil to a pan, and I'm adding 3 heaped tablespoons of brown sugar here, just because I have quite a lot of chicken. So yeah, I'm adding 3 heaped tablespoons of brown sugar, and we're basically just going to wait for that to start to melt into the oil. You're going to grab a wooden spoon and just sort of like mix it into the oil, make sure that all of the oil is saturated into the sugar. And you basically want to sort of like continually stir the brown sugar until it starts to foam. So I would say be very, very, very careful with this process, just because I slightly burnt my sugar. I think I just took it slightly beyond how far it needed to go. So yeah, keep an eye on it. Don't let it burn, just let it foam just to the right amount, and yeah, it'll be perfect. So yeah, I'm just continually letting it foam. So at this stage, I would say that it would be ready to add your chicken in, but I stupidly kind of let it continue to cook. As you can see, it's kind of like burning. If you look sort of in the middle part, you can see that the sugar is starting to get really dark. So yeah, I definitely left this on too long, so don't let it get to this point. But yeah, at this stage, I'm just going to add in my chicken. So finally added in my chicken, and yeah, as you can see, I've got a lot of chicken here, so I'm kind of spreading it around, trying to make sure that I can sort of separate it so that the chicken pieces aren't all stuck together. And I'm just stirring it into the foamed up sugar. And I'm just kind of like turning it and sort of moving it around just so that all of the chicken is coated in that sort of brown sugar sauce. So you just want to stir it in thoroughly and make sure that it's coated. Once you've mixed in your chicken and then it's all thoroughly coated, you're just going to basically put a lid onto the pot, the saucepan that you're using, and allow the chicken to kind of steam and let the chicken release all of its juices into the sauce. So as you can see, this was about, I want to say 15 minutes later, and the chicken has released some of its juices. I'm now going to flip over my chicken. Again, I think my mind was somewhere else that day, so I slightly burnt it. I should have turned it probably about 5 minutes before this stage. As you can see, some of my chicken is burnt, but yeah, you definitely I would say 10 minutes, have a little peek and make sure you flip them over before they get burnt, and yeah, it should look something a little like this. And what you're going to do is probably put a lid on it and let it simmer for another 5 minutes. After that, I'm just adding in some potatoes that I chopped up into chunks, and I'm just going to sort of stir this into the chicken and the sauce. Make sure that all the potatoes are thoroughly coated with all of the juices. At this stage, I also have a couple of, maybe 2 tablespoons of tomato ketchup that I added some water to, and I'm now just adding this to the chicken and the potatoes, and this is going to give the stew a nice sort of like sweetness. So I'm mixing it all together, making sure that it's all sort of like incorporated, and also the potatoes are going to kind of draw out some of that bitterness as well. So yeah, that's good. I'm just going to put a lid on it and leave that to simmer on a low to medium heat until the potatoes are softened. So I'm just giving it another stir. This is after about 15 minutes. And as you can see, I'm being a little bit cheeky, couldn't wait, so I'm trying a bit of the chicken, and yeah, it tasted really good. I'm putting the lid on it again, just letting the potatoes get a bit softer, because I definitely want the potatoes to be nice and soft. At this stage, the stew had been probably bubbling for in total about half an hour, and everything looks really nice and lush. The chicken had softened and the potatoes had also softened. So for other sort of brown stew chickens, I know people do leave it simmering for a lot longer than this, but this is my quick and easy sort of 35-minute version. So it was at a softened state that I was happy with. At this point, I added about maybe a tablespoon or 2 of honey, just again to counteract the bitterness that I'd put into the stew by letting the chicken burn. So yeah, I'm just adding a little bit of honey, stir that in. But if you don't burn your chicken, obviously you can completely skip that step. And I'm just mixing it in, and the stew is basically done at this stage. I'm just going to top with some dried parsley. If I had fresh, I would have used fresh, but yeah, I'm just topping with some dried parsley, and yeah, you're basically done. Please do try out this recipe, guys, and let me know what you think in the comments down below.